everyone. Welcome to another open house session on NCL compliance. Definitely, we have seen so many changes coming up in the regulatory and compliance arena, especially with respect to NSE Clearing Limited as well. And that's why we thought, why not to make an open house session on NCL compliance, wherein we'll be discussing on various facets. I'm Jwalan Gandhi from NSE, and with me, I have Amit Pujara, who is the Chief Regulatory Officer, NSE Clearing. I have Hima Bindu. She is the Vice President with NSE Clearing. And along with her, Shivani Dalvi is there. She is Associate Vice President, NSE Clearing Limited, Member Inspection. So on behalf of each and everyone, I welcome you all. And I like to tell you that throughout this session, we'll be touching upon various reporting and submission parts, which is required by NSE Clearing Limited. We'll also touch upon certain key facets, which has always been a point of queries from various members. Now, without a further ado, let me first ask one question before we go into much of the details. So probably, Amit, if you can please brief on types of clearing members which are there and what kind of services they can offer.
Sure. Thanks, Jwalan. Thank you everyone for joining. Thanks for giving this platform. I think before we really get into the nitty-gritties of compliances, I think it's a good questions to ask about different type of clearing members. So we have three different type of clearing member. The first one is self-clearing member, the members who would do clearing and settlement for their own trades as well as trades carried out on behalf of their clients. That is the UCC code. The next category of clearing member is we call them as clearing members. So in addition to the activities performed by self-clearing member, they are also permitted to carry out offer their services of clearing and settlement to other stockbroker in addition to the clearing and settlement for CP code, that is institutional clients like FPI, mutual fund and NRI. And the last category is professional clearing members. So these set of institutional clearing members are specializing only in offering clearing and settlement function on behalf of the stockbrokers and the CP code. So per se, they are not permitted to trade on the exchange platform.
Okay, so you mean to say professional clearing members cannot become trading members, is it correct?
So they are only permitted to do clearing and settlement in a particular segment. They would not be permitted to trade.
Okay,
That's
understood. And if you can again touch upon key roles that are played by clearing members.
Like we talked about, the key role played by them is, of course, clearing and settlement. So that includes fund settlement and security settlement on the timelines prescribed by the clearing corporation. This could be for trades executed on any of the stock exchanges like NSE, BSE, or MSCI, being interoperable segment.
Okay.
One of the core function they also carry out is basically risk management in the context of margin compliances and reporting to the clearing corporation. They also do important function of collateral management in the context of facilitating repledge of securities received from the client through the stockbrokers. Ultimately to the clearing corporation. They also play a very crucial part in the context of upstreaming of fund. So in nutshell, I would say they play a very crucial role by becoming an intermediary between the clearing corporation and the client through stockbrokers. So in addition to clearing and settlement and risk management we just talked about, they also carry out an important function of oversight of stockbroker. We would discuss that during the part of this session.
Okay, so that was actually good that you briefly touch upon the key and crucial areas. But you just mentioned one of the crucial areas as compliances, right? Which is to be performed by clearing members. Which reminds me, if NCL has issued any consolidated circulars or FAQs which can assist clearing members in a better manner?
Yeah, that's right. I think in terms of SEBI circular last year, we had issued a consolidated circular June 2023 that's available on our website. So this includes, in addition to segment-specific consolidated circular, we have a separate circular talking about clearing member compliances as well as inspection. So that's a complete set of information with respect to compliance for clearing member. And yes, of course, like you rightly said, we also have FAQs on various subjects that's available on our website.
Okay, and if I just ask a small question in continuation with that, this consolidated circular that you mentioned in June 23, so is it kind of a practice that NCL has to issue a yearly consolidated circular, or is it need based?
So we used to issue consolidated circular segment wise on an annual basis every year. We used to do that in the month of January. However, like I said, in the context of SEBI directive, it would be issued financial year wise. So the first one was issued in June last year, and going forward, it will be uploaded in the month of April every year.
Okay, so members, there is an important point to take care about. So you need, or your team needs to be vigilant that in case of financial year completion in April, or maybe in case it is not in April, then probably a month, year or so, but you need to keep revising and seeing the consolidated circular which is issued by NSE Clearing Limited. Now, moving from this macro level brief that you have rightly given us, definitely there might be so many members who are trading members and they want to become a clearing member or self-clearing member with NSE Clearing Limited. So there must be some eligibility criteria, fees and deposits applicable, and other periodic compliances they need to adhere to. So is there any way where they can refer details or probably sometimes they have been raising queries to where to refer this from?
So, like you rightly said, this is membership related activities are on a continuous basis. So, members get in touch with us through our dedicated email ID. It's membership at nsccl.co.in.
Okay.
However, as a part of information readily available, we have made entire relevant information with respect to members on our website itself. So like you rightly asked, this includes details like eligibility criteria, deposits, and net worth requirement, etc. It's very easily available on our website under membership tab on NSCCL website.
Great. Now, when you mentioned about the fees, one such facet among the fees is SEBI annual clearing fees. So if you can please, briefly guide upon that because many members ask for it.
So, in the context of deposits and net worth, which NSE clearing takes segment-wise, category-wise, is readily available. There's also a concept of annual clearing membership fees that has to be paid by the clearing member. So this is in terms of stockbroker regulation issued by SEBI. So this is 50,000 per annum. And this is per segment. So this is applicable for all the derivative segments like equity derivative, currency, interest rate, debt, and commodity derivative segment. GST is charged separately. So this is an annual activity. Members are required to pay this fees to the NSE clearing, and then we in turn give it to the SEBI on an annual basis. And this is segment wise. So if you are a member of two segment, the fees would be 50,000 plus 50,000. So it will be 1 lakh plus GST. And this has to be paid, like I said, on an annual basis. So we normally send a reminder circular in the month of March, giving the operational details about which account the money would be collected from. And this has to be paid on or before May, if I'm not wrong. and then we pay it to SEBI. The thing is, there's a interest to be levied if there's a delay in payment of this fees in terms of SEBI regulation. So we would request all type of members, be it self-clearing or clearing a professional clearing member, to fund their account so that there is no interest on delayed payment leviable to them.
Okay, understood. So thanks for clarifying on these key pointers. Now, I remember that sometime back there has been net worth requirement changes which has been applied with. So for benefit of members, if we can clarify and reiterate on key enhancements which are done to this particular requirement, please.
Yeah, Jwalan, that's a very valid question. So let me remind, SEBI had issued a gazette notification in the month of February 2022,
Okay.
where they had prescribed a revised method of calculating a base net worth requirement that's called fixed net worth requirement. And there was a concept of variable net worth requirement also prescribed, which was based on the percentage of client money retained by the members. However, the SEBI had issued a gazette notification prescribing enhancement in the net worth in two phases. So the first one was made applicable in February of 2023. And another one has been recently been introduced that is applicable from February 23, 2024. So we have issued a circular way back in 2022, and these details are available on our website. From our side, we also got in touch with the members based on their submission of September 2023 about the revised net worth requirement that they would be required to comply with. So the details are available on our website. Just for information, the recent increase in the fixed net worth for self-clearing member has been increased from rupees 3 crore to 5 crore. For a clearing member, it has increased from 10 to 15 crore. And for a professional clearing member, being an institutional member carrying a high amount of risk, the net worth has been revised from 25 crore to 50 crore. So, and of course, variable net worth requirement also exists. So, the actual net worth that they need to comply with is the higher of base net worth or variable net worth.
Understood. Great. Thanks for clarifying on that. This reminds me of a small clarity that I'd like to give to members, that when we are mentioning that details are available or on NCL website, so I'd like to clarify that NCL has a separate website from NSE website. The URL for NCL website is www.nscclindia.com, over which the detailed guidelines and other informations are provided, apart from details given on www.nse.india.com. So please keep in mind that there are two separate websites of NSE and NCL both. Now, moving from this discussion, this reminds me to have the another key factor discussed, which is important to members, and that is periodic submissions, right? Which is to be adhered by NCL members. Which are the key submissions which they have to be compliant with? If you can guide on that, please.
So thanks, Jwalan, for bringing out this fact that nscclindia.com is a website of NSE Clearing. We try to keep updating the relevant information. For benefit of the members, we have created a separate tab called membership. So that talks about admission of a member, continued compliance that members are required to adhere to. So that also includes information with respect to a compliance calendar that we issue on a monthly basis. However, like you rightly asked, let me give some example that are important compliances that we talk about. So we have half yearly internal audit report to be submitted by members. So the important fact would be that this is applicable for all clearing members who are doing clearing and settlement for other stockbroker or they are doing clearing and settlement for a CP code. So
Okay.
we need to be careful that even if the CP code pertains to our own client or a client of some other stockbroker. However, if in any of the derivative segment, the trade is carried out, if the settlement is carried out in CP code, we consider them as clearing member, and they will have to submit a half yearly internal audit report that is certified by chartered accountant, and this is separate submission compared to the exchanges, and this is applicable across all clearing corporations. One important point also would be to note that all non-compliances reported by the internal auditor would be we would carry out enforcement in terms of our uniform penalty structure, which is applicable for member inspection. There's one more weekly TM-wise, client-wise collateral reporting that is done to the clearing corporation. There's also a daily client margin reporting that's carried out on T+1. There's also a requirement that if there's a shortfall in margin collection on the basis of consolidated crystallized obligation in excess of 5 lakh, it has to be reported to the clearing corporation in terms of our circular of July 2020. It's also important to note here that clearing members are required to collect this margin in the form of cash only from concerned stockbroker and CP code. One of the most important requirement is daily segregation and monitoring of client collateral. Internally, we call it as SMCC or T+1 reporting or collateral segregation reporting. So these are in nutshell periodic reportings to the clearing corporation.
Great. Thanks for touch pointing on such important periodic submissions. But members, these may or may not be the exhaustive list, and requirement may change time to time. So this was just for your ready reference that these are some important submissions that you need to be reminded about. Now, if I may just move to Hima for certain questions, there is one specific reporting where members keep raising queries, and that reporting is collateral segregation reporting. In a nutshell, what is the reporting, if you can just explain to members, and if you can also mention the timelines applicable for the same.
Thanks, Junath. Yes, this is one of the crucial reporting which is required from the member end. Effective October 2021, we started collecting this information from the members. Members are required to daily report collateral at the client level, all the collateral what they have collected from the clients, and this is supposed to be a disaggregated. What it means is segment-wise collateral details are required to be reported to the clearing corporation.
Okay.
So what it means is, if I'm a clearing member, then I need to report for, suppose if I'm a self-clearing member, I need to report for all the clients. If I'm a professional clearing member or a TMCM clearing for other trading members, I'm supposed to report for all the trading members and their associated clients to it. What it means is that the trading members are required to provide this information to the clearing member, and clearing member in turn is required to upload all these details to the clearing corporation. So, since the data is required to be submitted across all segments, across all clients, the timeline specified for it is on T+1 before 12 midnight is what is the timeline which we have provided.
Okay.
And so this is very important because this information is not just used by the clearing corporation. This is also being used by other MIS, which this information is being shared with other MIS for various alerts and other monitoring which other MIs are required to be done. So it's very important that clearing members do submit this data on a timely basis.
Okay, thanks. A small question some members might have when you mentioned that suppose somebody is having the membership of TMCM category, then definitely they might be trading and clearing for their trades as well as other trading members' trades also. So is there any difference for this particular reporting to be taken care about?
No, in the sense within the report there is a trading member details and there is a clearing member details. Suppose
Okay.
if I'm trading and clearing for my own clients, then in that particular the TM and CM details would remain the same. The PAN would
Okay.
remain the same. But if I am clearing for others, then the trading member details would be different, but clearing member. So I think the
Sure.
formats and other things have already been defined.
Definitely. So definitely existing members must be aware about that,
Yeah.
but this may help new TMCM category members who are thinking to become. Now, another small question I had, suppose in case a member on a specific day, their reporting has not reached to NCL. So before the timeline, of course, then is there any way by which member can come to know from NCL sides about this?
Yeah, we actually, while the deadline is still T+1 12 midnight, we at around 5 o'clock, what we do is we try to generate some reports to figure out as to how many members have submitted and how many are yet to submit. And we try to send out emailers to members for those who have, for whom we have not yet received the files. But what we have seen is, in spite of these emails, members still tend to, ignore or, miss
Or
out on.
keep waiting till the timeline.
Exactly.
Okay.
And sometimes what happens is if you start doing it at 11:50 or 11:45, it's too late. Even if you encounter any errors at that point in time,
Correct.
it becomes very difficult to,
Exactly.
So that's the reason if you have it, it's better to do it much before, so that in case you encounter any issues, then at least our staff can help them out.
Understood. And
Yeah.
that's a very valid point which Hima has highlighted over your members. So in case you have a practice or your team has a practice to do the reporting at last moment or towards the late evening, it is always a great practice to prepone and set a system wherein during the day only you submit that so that there are teams here from NSE clearing side to help you out in case any issues are faced. Otherwise, it may lead to a violation as well in case you are not being able to submit it timely. And again, if I just recollect, Hima, you mentioned that this particular emailers are on best effort basis from NCL side,
Yes.
right? It is an additional assistance that NCL is trying to provide to NCL members. Great, but that was again a helpful thing. Definitely, I'm sure that there must be some common mistakes which members might be making while doing the
There's
collateral
one more
segregation.
point
Yes,
which I
please.
wanted to mention. So it is not just a question of penalty over here for non-submission.
Exactly.
You know what? It's like even we don't like to penalize members. Our objective is to ensure that members are compliant.
True.
So today, so if you really see in the past 6-8 months, even be it NCL or other CCs or SEBI, we are just trying to consolidate various kinds of reports, and we are trying to see if there are any other redundant reports which can be done away with, and whether all monitoring can be done only by looking at few critical reports.
Exactly.
So effectively what it means is if you don't submit those reports on a timely basis through the portal, effectively for that particular day, all the other MIs also would end up generating these alerts.
Exactly.
Because this particular underlying files are not present.
Exactly.
So it's not just the penalty, it's more than the penalty. It is the, unwanted alerts which are, which they are.
And definitely, I'm sure that members also
which I
don't
don't think
want.
nobody wants that
Exactly.
to, so.
I think, like Hima mentioned, I completely agree with her. This is a very important reporting on T+1 basis, disaggregated. Like Hima said, this has been used by all the MIIs for their own monitoring. The entire regime has now changed based on reporting, and this report is basically feeding into various systems. So of course, timelines has to be met. Accuracy of those reports are also important, and members would be requested to really carry out adequate due diligence to ensure that this is reported on a timely basis.
Great. Yes, yes. And that is very true. And thanks for highlighting from both of you. What I was asking Hima is definitely there must be some common mistakes that members are doing while reporting this collateral segregation. So if you can touch upon the few common mistakes that members are making and that has been highlighted with NCL.
Yeah. So typically, what a few of the mistakes what we found is, suppose many a times what I suppose I could be a self-clearing member, say for example in cash market segment, but I may be a trading member in derivative segment.
Correct.
Right? This is the typical combination what we get.
True.
So what happens is they would have submitted this file to the clearing member, but they would forget to upload to NCL or
Yes.
vice versa.
Yes.
You know. So, or sometimes even if I'm a clearing member in all the three segments in NCL, inadvertently, I would have just uploaded for one segment, not uploaded for other segment. Typically, members also may have, they may not have within their back office, segment-wise bifurcation.
True.
So, so these are the things. So, but this is something which is in place since October 2021. These regulations are in place. It's no longer, something which has come into force in the initial times. So these are the things which people need to, worry about. So that is one segment missing. So effectively, what will happen is when we start generating the penalties, effectively for the entire segment, the penalty of, what we get computed 1%,
Correct.
that is a huge amount.
Correct.
So that's one. And second thing is many a times what happens during the course of your business, you end up doing trades and some result into a wrong trades. Then you move the trades into your error codes and all. It's also important that you need to report for error codes. We do understand that error codes is your proprietary this thing, but it's important. Otherwise, these alerts will come and unnecessarily penalties would get generated for this. While we understand and we also come up with ways and means of how those can be taken care of subsequently when members do come for review, but as a general practice it's important that if at all any, because the way you are reporting for margin for error code, it's important that you even report collateral for the error code.
Okay.
And the most important thing is when we are there are a lot of validations which we have built in the collateral segregation reporting.
Okay.
So when you are uploading the file at the end of, after you upload, you get a success file. Okay, so it's very important that members do look at the success file. In the rush in the last minute, they don't look at the status or the, so that is typically what we have noticed.
So if you can, if I may interject you, if you can say what does the extension remain for success file and what is it for error file? Is there any specific?
It's a dot success. There is it immediately comes out with success and failure.
Okay, so dot success and dot failure is the extension that they'll be able to.
Yes.
Okay, please
So
go ahead.
you can figure it out. And what happens is if many a times member thinks that, okay, if there is a failure, maybe there may be only one record. For only one record, there is a failure. So for rest of the records, if the if the inside the file, if the status is okay, they assume that okay, it's only for one record, there is a failure. But the system runs in such a way, the entire file is rejected.
Okay.
So whenever you see a failure file, you need to rectify that failure record and re-upload the entire file.
With all the records, those were there in the original file. So members, please keep in mind, there is a very important highlight that Hima has mentioned that the whole file has to be re-uploaded even though partial records are failed. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. And one important thing is now that this data is being used by other MIs and everything, if there are any duplicate records which are being uploaded by the members, unnecessarily it is a operational hassles even for the other MI, given that the amount of quantum of data which is coming, wrong alerts are getting generated. It's important that exchanges using it for various other purposes. So unnecessarily incorrect alerts are also generated if you are uploading duplicate records.
Correct.
So typically what happens is when you are running out of time, so if you encounter a failure file, so instead of removing the old file and uploading a new file, you just leave it and then you keep on uploading multiple files, and it's not a it's not a prudent practice. It's basically the hygiene is not maintained.
Correct.
While this is not a non-compliance, but it's important that so these things are data hygiene is very important.
Very important.
So that's the point is what I am trying to highlight over here.
Okay. Any other pointers which are common mistakes, or these are the main things that is observed by NCL?
There are two more things. So
Okay.
now that we have spoken about the data validation, what they need to report, and how we are going about with the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, second part of the question is whatever they are reporting inside the file.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The correctness of the data is what I'm coming to. So the correctness of the data is very important. So while it's not possible to validate each and every data, but we try to validate majority of the data with the other reportings and with other information what is available with the clearing corporation. So what we typically what you find is, so we also, as a part of the collateral reporting, members are required to report what is the collateral which you have with the clearing corporate, which are placed with the clearing corporate, like what is the cash BGFD, the amount of cash BGFD at the UCC level and things like that.
Correct.
So when we actually try to compare with the actual collateral which is lying in these three forms, it doesn't match up.
Okay.
So that's one thing, and because ideally because it's your collateral which is lying with the clearing corporation. So whatever you're showing as passed on to CC should actually tally with what is there with.
And that is very important on their end as well.
Yes. So it's at the end of the day, it's important for them also for reconciliation purpose.
Correct.
And while it is important, while it's understood that now BGs cannot be created out of client funds, but when we see the reportings, when we run our, alerts and other things, we find that there are still few members who do report saying I've created BGs out of client funds. But you can't, so this is something which is a non.
And it has been quite a time now that it has stopped.
Yes,
it seems.
Yes.
Okay.
And then so this is actually an anomaly for us because this is not supposed to be,
So members have to take a due note of it, and at least in further reporting, they have to be very sure that they are not reporting
we
on
do
this.
Reach out to members when we come across these kind of things. We do tell members that probably maybe their back offices are not updated, or there certain things are not being taken care of. So today they are worried about the reportings, and then these things they tend to miss out. So wherever we come across these things, we also try to highlight and
so when you are saying we do reach out to members, is it through email communication or separate modes?
We do reach out by email.
Okay.
So and then immediately members do rectify their softwares and all. But since we have come across in few cases, I thought it's important that we inform to the members, so that other members don't.
Yes, sir.
So in addition to the accuracy of reporting, what Hima just talked about, wherever there are non-compliances of SEBI circulars, the appropriate penalties are also prescribed. Like in case of if somebody has really made a BG out of client fund, there are prescribed penalties that are leviable. So members should really ensure that they are complying with all SEBI circulars in this regard.
True. Thanks for mentioning that. Now, Hima, apart from common mistakes, does NCL observe discrepancies between allocation and segregation reporting coming from members? And if it does, then does NCL communicate them to members as well or not?
Yeah. So, now, the job doesn't end with reporting of collateral.
Correct.
So they also are required to allocate the collateral, right? So, this being two different, one is an online system, one is a T+1 system. We just try to do some comparisons at the end of the day.
Correct.
Whatever you are showing over here as collected on behalf of the client, whether you are actually allocating, whether both the numbers are in sync is what we try to,
it should match.
It should match. Okay, yes. So we try to do this. So this is nothing but in NCL parlance, it is called the band mismatch report, which many members are aware. So
band mismatch.
Band mismatch.
Okay.
So by band mismatch, what we mean is, suppose say if you have reported as saying you have collected X amount of collateral from the client. So we go about to check whether you are not giving more allocation than what you actually collected from the client.
Correct.
Okay. The moment you allocate more than what you have actually received, then that is termed as an excess allocation.
Okay.
Okay. Same goes with the other way. Suppose you have said that you have collected collateral, but you have passed on say some 1/10.
Okay.
So 1/10 to the clearing corporation.
True.
So when you are actually allocating, you have to at least allocate a minimum 1/10 of what you have said you have passed on to the clearing corporation.
Right.
So this is called the lower band mismatch.
Mhm.
So this is something called the band message. While I don't want to get into the details, but there's detailed circulars and
Everything is there.
everything is already there. Any further questions, they can reach out to the member monitoring team. But this is what we do on a daily basis for the allocations which are done prior to the trade. Those are validated with the allocations which are there with the system. So end of the day is what we check. So whatever the discrepancies we find out, those are published to the members on a daily basis, so that members do rectify and then check where they're making a mistake in this, so that they can value. Because it's important that so wherever there is excess allocation, it's actually a violation.
True.
Which means that you're allowing him to take more exposure than what you have collected, and wherever you are saying you have allocated less means one client's money is getting utilized for the place. So both are equally notorious.
Yes, it is.
So that's very important, that we try to highlight, and as a part of our daily reports, we give it to the band mismatch reports. So members should look into that and ensure that the band mismatch reports are zero.
Very true. And just meanwhile, you mentioned if member wants to reach out, they can reach out to member monitoring. So if you can just reiterate the email ID on which they can reach out, despite they might be knowing, but
Yes.
just a reiteration.
So anytime you have any queries pertaining to the band mismatch or any of the collateral segregation reports, then you can reach out to member monitoring at nsecl.co.in.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So
Yes, please.
Just wanted to add, what Hima really talked about, these reportings to the member on a daily basis. As a part of inspection, we also carry out verification whether the amount of collateral that has been allocated, it is really received from the client, and if there are any deviation, appropriate enforcement actions are carried out. So on a daily basis, we would issue this information to the members so they can really look at the accuracy of their own reporting. However, at the time of inspection, we also really look into it, because like Hima rightly mentioned, these are very important information which needs to be verified during inspection, and we carry out those verifications.
Yes, yes, sure. And it is required to be, tracked as well. Otherwise, it becomes difficult in turn for members also, probably. Now, another crucial area for members has been upstreaming of funds, where some enhancements, I believe, were recently suggested, especially with respect to specific reason reporting, etc. So probably you guys, if you can just share some thoughts on it.
Yeah, like you want to touch upon the upstreaming?
Yeah, so initial circular of June 2023 of SEBI that was informed of the market and implemented, and we had also had a reason code reporting and all those things. Based on the feedback of broker industry standard forum, SEBI has also revised the guidelines in December. So that has been notified. The operation guidelines we are in the process of issuing across all the clearing corporations. So we will come out shortly with the justification code reporting mechanism also.
Okay, and that will be elaborated in the circular, which is expected to come in near future.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks for addressing that. Sorry, you.
Yeah. Just wanted to add, recently we were having a conversation with a few of professional clearing member who happens to be bank, and there was a discussion whether they can continue to receive bank instrument like FD or BG from the client, being a bank PCM. So we clarified that any collateral, the principle prescribed by SEBI is any collateral that cannot be passed on to the clearing corporation members, clearing members should not be accepting it from their clients. So basically, this would be CP code giving BG or FD to the bank-based PCM, but we clarified that it is not in line with guidelines prescribed by SEBI. So I thought I'll just bring it to.
No, sure. Definitely this helps. And members, please take a due note of same. In case still there are any queries, you can definitely reach out to NSE Clearing for further clarifications on the similar lines. Now, we were just mentioning reporting of reason codes. Probably Hima, you can take it up. That made me think that, I mean, if you would like to touch upon the reporting of reason codes and particulars about the same when they are doing it is for short allocation of collaterals. So if you can brief more about the reason codes which they can report to.
So in order to ease in the for operational ease, the CCs have come up with a reason code. So what exactly it means is wherever there is a short, ideally you're supposed to allocate before you execute a trade. Suppose say you're so when we calculate and if there is a short allocation, which means that you have allocated less than your actual executed trade. So which is nothing but short allocation.
Okay.
So wherever at the client level, wherever there are short allocations which I have observed, so what happens is at the end of the day we do a provisional short allocation report is something which is published to the members. So while there could be many operational challenges which clearing members also do face, because given the interop kind of a scenario and given that we have multiple stakeholders in it, like we have depositories, we have banks, we have clearing corporations, and we have multiple clearing corporations. So there are multiple parties involved.
It is inclusive systems.
Inclusive system. So there could be a possibility that given that the client may have maybe trading in multiple exchanges, so the situations could be different. So that's the reason to in order while the system would have computed a short allocation, actually it may not be a short allocation. Okay, so to handle various scenarios, so what the clearing corporations have done is they have given the so-called the 7 reason codes. So what it means is, for suppose say for example, I'll just give you one example. Okay, for example, if a client is trading in multiple exchanges, for example, or, and multiple exchanges, and there could be a possibility that I'm a clearing member in one CC over here, and I could be a clearing member in other CC, or it could be that a client may have an excess collateral in other clearing corporation. So, so while there could be a short allocation in one CC, he may be having the surplus in the other clearing corporation. So in such a scenario, the option is given to the members that in case as a member, since member will know the net position of him, so of the client. So in that scenario, he has been provided with an option to report as 0-1.
Okay.
So like we have a client margin reporting where you have time till T+5.
Okay.
Similarly, for short allocation, there are till 4 days is what you can report.
Okay.
So within that 4 days, the member can actually report saying, okay, this is not actually a short allocation. It is on account of excess collateral with the other clearing corporation. Hence, they need to mark it as 0-1. So this is what I mean by saying these are the various reason codes.
Okay.
Similarly, for EPI, there is a reason code given as 0-2. In case it was, if there had been a wrong trade, for example, okay, and the client has, and there has been a client code modification subsequently, so then there is a reason code provided as 0-3.
Okay.
Okay, in that case, the short allocation is not, because we also do intraday short allocation, we also do end of day short allocation.
Understood.
So possibility that something might have got caught in the intraday, but whereas subsequent to the modification, that is not applicable.
Okay.
Similarly, for NRAs, there is an exemption which has been provided. And fifth could be, the member would have given allocation request, but the request is still getting processed, So so at the end of the day, it is an APIs, the systems, and one system has to talk to other system. Possibility could be, so this is another provision which we have provided. And the sixth is, I said, even depositories are involved. For example, for pledge repledge, I would have given the file to the depositories, but the file would have not reached the CC, or probably it's in the process. So
Right.
these are the things these are the various reason codes. So wherever the short allocation is identified for at the client level, and if you feel that actually it is not a short allocation, but it can be attributed to any of the reason code, members should avail of these reason codes, and they need to do it to avoid the short
But it has to be
allocation
within the
penalty.
prescribed guidelines that we have given against the
Yes.
each reason code,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay.
Because what happens is when they report these things, we will also go and check whether they're actually falling under this 01-07. So when we do the checks, when we figure out that there is actually which is actually not correct, then
Correct.
that is not considered as then it is considered as incorrect reporting.
Okay.
Which is considered as which will attract 100% penalty.
Okay.
So that's very important that members should know that there's a difference between falsifying the data.
Okay.
So that's very important. Where
so in case they are not sure, they need to first clarify with NCL and then accordingly report with the correct reason code. Is it the case?
No, they would know, but the point is they should do correct reporting.
Okay,
It's
understood.
just that to avoid penalty, they should not just report 01-07. It should be an accurate reporting.
Sure.
Which is what I'm saying. The accuracy is very important.
It is very important, members, and please take note of the same. So thanks, Seema, for clarifying in such a details. Now, probably if we move ahead from reporting and submissions to inspection and supervision part, which probably Shivani would like to chip in, and Amit also, you can also chip in, which is to be done by the clearing members of NCL. So for better understanding of members, and necessary process amendments they may require to do at their end. If you can please explain the frequently observed discrepancies during the inspection.
Thank you, Joel.
Okay.
So in view of the SEBI circular and to ensure the members are following proper compliances, NCL inspection team conducts the inspection of clearing member and professional clearing members. So clearing member includes the members who are clearing for other stock brokers and custodian participants.
Okay.
So during this inspection, we observe that there are few non-compliances which are frequently observed among the members. And so what we did that we have already uploaded the document of such non-compliances on our website. So I request all of you to please visit the website and go through the document so that you can also enhance your compliances. Having said that, I would like to explain another points which are observed in the inspection. So majorly it is a segregation reporting and margin compliances. Okay. So for segregation reporting, like suppose member repledges the securities, but suppose member retain those securities at their end, so it does not repledge those securities to the CC, then it is mandatory for the members to report those securities value under the column of retained securities in the segregation reporting. So those columns may be 41, 42 and 43 as appropriate you may find. Then there are few members we observe that they are not reporting for their proprietary and own collaterals in the segregation reporting. So it is desired to report their own collateral in the segregation reporting. So as to we'll have a complete picture of you as an entity, what collaterals you have basically.
Correct.
Then as Hema said that if members are reporting under the column of placed with NCL, then that reporting has to match with whatever the actual collateral is with CC. So there are few inconsistencies we observed during the inspection that data is not matching, that whatever you are reporting under the placed with NCL and actually collateral, whatever we have with the CC. So that has to be actually matched.
Okay.
As we already discussed, the inconsistency data hygiene is a very important part of the reporting and for the inspection as well. So we understand the clearing members receive the data from their trading members of the segregation reporting. So as Hima said that we have certain validations in our system. So it is advisable for members also to have certain validations in their own systems. As easy as like maybe whatever you have received is equal to retained with them and passed on to the NCL. So these are very few observations, but major observations which we observed during our inspections. And further, there are some related to the margin compliances.
Okay.
So this is specifically related to the clearing members who are clearing for the NRI clients. And so when we check the false reporting of MG12 framework, uh, for the same, when we observe that the margin is actually there for the CP codes, but the members are repledging those securities to the CC under the UCC codes. And they are doing the allocations in UCC code as well as in CP code. So to just have the clarification that if wherever in the respective segment, wherever that code has a margin requirement, please replace those securities in those codes only, like in CP code for the derivative segment, and avoid this duplication of allocation, because it will create the other generation of alerts for the members.
Correct.
Again, earlier, what member used to do, member used to report the match margin in MG12 reporting. So we had issued circular in May 23 for the clarification, and directed the members to report the whatever you have actually collected collateral from your constituents. That only you report in the MG12. Do not report the same margin as there in MG12 margin requirement. So you have to actually report the margin, whatever you have accepted from the clients. So these were the major observations what we were going
Okay.
through the inspections.
Thanks. Thanks for highlighting. Any other facets related to inspection and supervision which you want to again highlight for, especially with respect to oversight over trading members?
So, we discussed initially, that clearing member plays a very crucial role as an intermediary between clearing corporations and stockbroker for whom they are clearing and settling. So, way back in August 2021, we had issued a circular which highlights the key oversight that they need to carry out with respect to the trading members and various reporting. So we would request members to go through it in detail. I think what we had prescribed was the bare minimum that a clearing member really need to look at, because ultimately they are carrying out a function of risk management on behalf of their trading member also. So they need to assess the activities carried out by their trading members. Again, in January 2022, we had issued a clarification to this circular, giving an option to the clearing member to obtain quarterly internal audit report from the trading member in lieu of inspection if they wish to carry out.
Okay.
And they're required to place those observations before their own risk management committee to take a view in the matter. Again, like I said, these were key points that we had highlighted, which included things like monitoring of paying timelines being followed by the trading member, the penalties that are levied on the trading member and their client, seeking the data of debit balances, monitoring of misuse of client fund, correctness of data. So all that we discussed in this session, we are carrying out those monitoring and supervision of the clearing member. The clearing member in turn also would need to really look at the activities of the trading member for whom they are carrying out this clearing and settlement. So the indicative framework is given in August 21 circular, but they are required to carry out monitoring, and there are various reporting also to the clearing corporation. Even during internal audit submission, we've observed a lot of non-compliances in this context being highlighted by the internal auditor. So clearing members are required to create systems and processes to carry out adequate oversight of the trading members.
Great. Thanks for highlighting again about that. Now, are there any guidelines from NCL which member can expect in near future which are important to mention?
We are in the process of issuing a system audit requirement for professional clearing members. So we are working across CCs, and we have also taken up the matter with SEBI. So very soon we would be issuing a guidelines for periodic system audit report submission by the professional clearing member.
Okay.
And like what we just talked about in the context of upstreaming, we would be issuing the operation guidelines very soon.
Okay. Sure. Thanks. Now, coming towards the last part of today's session. So suppose a member is levied any penalty from NCL. Definitely the same is reflected and shown to members over ENIT member portal. Last week, Friday only, we have done an open house session giving a walkthrough demo to members about how to see the penalties, etc. But still, for the benefit of everyone, probably Hema or Amit or anybody, if you can reiterate on NCL penalty dashboard, key features and the important pointers about that.
So we have in the last, I think about a week back, we have, I think in the first week of February, second week of February, we did, we provided a couple of, new services or functionalities on the NIT compliance module. One is what we have done is while the penalty information is being published on NMAS and on multiple portals currently also, the various penalties which is being given by respective departments and this thing. But over and above, what we have started doing is as a part of penalty dashboard, we felt that there is a need to have all penalties which are levied by NCL at a single platform or a single platform. So right now, what we are doing, if you go to any member portal, you will on the member portal you will under the NCL section, you will get to see NCL penalties. Today, what we are doing is today you get to see their collateral segregation penalties. You get to see the client margin reporting penalties and also short allocation penalties. So basically, by and large, I can tell you that more or less all daily penalties, which are the transaction and operational penalties, we are providing on a daily basis on the member portal. This doesn't take away the existing modes of where the penalties are levied, but there's a thing. While this takes care of about 85 to 90% to be precise, I think around 90% is what we can claim to be. But there are other monthly and other penalties, which are currently computed on the monthly basis. So those also are endeavours to even make that also available on the member portal. So very soon you will get to see that also.
Correct.
And over and above, even inspection penalties, which is neither monthly nor daily, it is event-based, case-specific or event-based. So even that information also we would want to do it so that at the clearing member level, at any point of time, if he wants to see what are the applicable penalties, he'll get to see everything under one window. So that's the objective. So with which we are moving. So maybe 2-3 months down the line, they get to see everything over there.
Sure.
But having said that, this is only an indicative purpose. If there's any dispute or any discrepancy or anything, if they feel, so always the source is what needs to be considered.
But definitely digital repository will always help members, and we hope that definitely members have started using and referring to it, and they might be having it very handy to see through if any penalties are levied to them.
Yes.
Correct. Thanks. And again, through, via walkthrough demo, we mentioned that earlier members had to submit their penalty review request if they have any through email mode. But with this enhancement in first week or second week of February, we have also introduced a facility to submit digitally their penalty review request. So if you can just touch upon that as well.
Yeah. So the second enhancement what we did bring it to members was in case today till last quarter all the penalty requests were received via dedicated email ID and processed by the teams, and then all communications were through an email mode of mechanism. For ease of operational ease, not just for us and also for the members. So it was felt that it is for a seamless communication, it's important to have a digitized form of review request. So what we have introduced is effective, I think February 12th, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
What we said is any penalty review requests, it should come only through the portal, be it for segregation penalties or be it for short allocation or for margin, because currently we are providing for these three kind of penalties over here because this amount to the maximum review request to be that's where it is. So I think I can say 99% of the cases, or rather 100% of the cases what we get today are pertaining to these three. So that's the reason as a first step we said, at least these three review requests, whatever are there, it should come through. It will help members also because they also get to see on the portal what information is required. What is the kind of, suppose say it also gives you, what are the kinds of information which is expected as a part of the review request. Similarly, if there is any further clarification which is required, that also we will, seek in the portal itself.
Definitely, and it may expedite the processing as well as ease of assessing the request as well for both the sides, members as well as
and
NCL.
or it will also help in emails not getting lost out from both the sides.
Correct.
So because sometimes we might mark to the wrong person, or they might think they may go all over the place, but the actual email may not reach the member monitoring team.
Definitely.
So that was another thing which we have done. So that's
Sure. And if I can take liberty to just re-emphasize, which during last session also we said, member from with effect from 12th of February, we have requested members to mandatorily submit their penalty request through this digital mode only. And in case still members are emailing on member monitoring email ID, then definitely team would be requesting them to raise the request via digital mode and get a case ID.
Yes.
Okay.
So we have been wherever emails are coming for to us for review requests, we have been guiding them to upload the request through the portal, because what happens is there is a case ID which is generated and it becomes easy for us to track as well.
Okay. And if I may ask, is there any timeline within which they have to raise the penalty review request over digital portal?
Yeah, I mean, in the sense, yes, because ideally we did issue circulars to the members in the past as well, because what happens is members don't look at the penalty dashboards. We make it a point to the reason why we publish the penalty on a daily basis. We want members to see it, and if there are any corrective actions required, they need to take care of the software and things like that.
Correct.
But what happens is members don't see these penalties. Only at then when we start debiting the accounts,
then they come to know and
the
they
time
wake
when
up.
the members do come to know that that there has been a penalty, so which has been levied. So probably the ops team is different, compliance team is different, so on and so forth. So there could be a lot of things. That's the reason we said, instead of going all, let's put everything at one place so that you can get to see it.
No, definitely.
So in order to bring in the discipline into the fraternity, what we said is within 7 days of penalty amount being published, you need to reach out to us if there is any review, because what happens is we take it on a quarterly basis, because this review request, while the department reviews it, it goes through multiple levels of scrutiny. So it is the department one level of scrutiny, then it goes to the internal committee, then it goes to the the another committee. So multiple rounds. So if you miss out on a particular quarter, then effectively what is happening is you are waiting for another.
It elongates.
It elongates. And it becomes operational. It is an operational inefficiency for us and also for the member.
True.
And it's a burden.
True.
So it's important that within 7 days is what.
No, definitely. And as you rightly said, it is a prudent practice because we have now provided both NSEL and NCL penalty dashboards, since NSEL penalty dashboard is since quite a long time, and NCL penalty dashboard is also available with you. So probably you or your team should have a prudent practice to frequently go and visit that. And in case any cases are there, you want to reach out to us, you want to reach out to NSEL or NCL team, definitely you can do so. So thanks, Hima, again on highlighting and reiterating the features and facilities that we have introduced. So any additional thoughts, probably Amit, Hima, or Shivani, you want to take upon during today's session?
So I think thanks for giving this opportunity. It's been a very good platform. Like we always been discussing this, the objective is to create a high level of compliance culture. So we would want to make it as easy and as accessible as possible to take all steps to facilitate member to comply with all the directives issued by the regulatory authority in letter and in spirit and within the prescribed timelines. So thank you.
Thanks. Hima, Shivani, any additional thoughts?
That's right. I think we have covered majority of the things. I think it's
Correct.
anytime if any members have any issues, I think they can reach out to any one of us.
Sure. So, members, so probably with this today's open house session, we'd like to conclude. Before concluding, as we have been requesting earlier also, and you have been seeing that there is now a regular practice since quite a few months, that almost every week we have been trying to do open house sessions on all the required topics, be it NSE, NCL, or any other specific topic or department. We are still committed to do more and more sessions on every week. So please keep suggesting more topics, whichever you want us to make open house sessions. You can reach out us, HO personnel or your regional office personnel also to suggest on topic, and we'd be more than glad to do open house sessions on that. So probably with this, we are concluding today's open house sessions. Again, thank you very much for joining and participating in today's session. Thank you very much.